Yo, I'm Atticus, and I'm back at it again, this time with my version of a low-effort T.N.T. quarry machine. Now, I came up with this design because I was in my own survival world and I wanted to make a perimeter for a slime farm. But my current slime farm didn't provide the slime balls necessary to make some of the more resource-intensive quarry machines that I've seen. So I wanted to come up with this, and I wanted to make it effective as well as very resource-friendly. Now this is made up of our T.N.T. duper, which will dupe in both directions, the engine driving it, which will go ahead and carry it in both directions, and this is our ascending station that will go ahead and activate by this observer right here hitting this piston. The machine will shove over by one and it will send our engine and our T.N.T. duper back over to our receiving station, which will go ahead and this observer will activate this piston and it will shove both the T.N.T. duper, the engine over, as well as itself, and send it back over. And that will go ahead and make our perimeter. So let's go ahead and go over some of the finer points on the T.N.T. duper itself, as well as talk about some of the prep work that's involved in this whole process. So now let's go over some of the finer points on T.N.T. duping. This is the T.N.T. duper that I'm using, and it will go ahead and dupe in both directions. Now, some of the rules that apply to the T.N.T. duper itself is your T.N.T. must be directly next to the block that your minecart and your detector rail is on. Now, it can be on any of these sides, but as long as your dead coral fan is either above, below, or directly next to your T.N.T. Also, on either side of the coral fan, the block that it's sitting on that is, you must have some type of block. Now, it doesn't have to have these cobblestone walls like I have, but if you were to remove one of these, now it only dupes in one direction. Also, if you were to remove both, then you would get no duping. So that way you can kind of control the T.N.T. duper you want to make. Now, I do have cobble walls surrounding the minecart because the cobble walls itself are a block and a half. So I'm able to use one block and not use any extra space so I can protect my minecart. And this is because our actual duper will be flying in three directions, back and forth and to the side. Now, I tried to make a design that's actually protected on all sides, but I was unsuccessful. As you can see, this, when you push it over, the minecart's fine, but on the retraction, it breaks. And that will be with most of these designs, unless you can protect your minecart on all sides. Now, given these rules, we can do some pretty crazy things. This will actually have two T.N.T, and it will dupe in both directions. So pretty powerful. And this design is kind of like the first one, just rearranged, just showing you what you can do with the rules. Now this will only dupe on one side, unless you put a block on either side of your dead coral fan. Once again, this does not have to be cobblestone walls, it could be any block. And you will get your duping in both directions. Now you can also place your dead coral fan next to your T.N.T. And this, I believe, is from Il Mango's cobblestone farm. And this will dupe in one direction. But you can also make this design dupe in two directions by adding a block right next to the block that your dead coral fan is on. So that's some of the finer points on the T.N.T. dupers itself. So you can take these rules and kind of make your own for your own designs. Now let's talk about some of the prep work that's involved when making a perimeter. Once you pick your spot, you want to go ahead and clear out any water or lava sources that are on the surface. I wouldn't worry too much about the ones below because your machine will expose all those for later. You want to go ahead and take out any trees as well as any hills that might collide with the machine or the T.N.T. itself, thereby blowing it up. Now, if you do not have a mob switch or are able to go into peaceful mode, you will have to do some lighting around the edge of your perimeter, as well as the machine itself. You don't want mobs spawning on the machine or on the surface shooting at you and destroying you or the machine. Now, me personally, I like to go ahead and put my T.N.T. at Y level 93. That way it goes ahead and exposes everything to about 13 or 14 Y level, and you will be able to go ahead and collect any goodies that might lie below. And then after you go ahead and run the machine once, you will have to tear it down and you will have to rebuild it. But before that, clear out any water or lava sources and then run it again. And usually by this time, you're down to bedrock. If your area happens to be particularly bad, you will have to rinse and repeat until you're down to bedrock. So now let's go ahead and talk about how to build this thing. Once we've picked out the area that we're going to make our perimeter in, we want to go to the lower left-hand corner. Let's say this redstone block is representing the center of where we're going to make our perimeter. So we want to go to the lower left-hand end of it, and then that's where we'll start building our TNT duper. We're going to go ahead and put 4 slime blocks in this pattern. Put our TNT and our dead coral fan up. Put our cobble walls on. Then we're going to go ahead and put our minecart and our rails into place. These have to be detector rails. Destroy that. Get that back, and then we'll put our piston back. And that is our TNT duper. So let's go ahead and build the engine. Place a temporary block right there. 2 observers facing down, 1 facing up. And then a slime block with a sticky piston. And carry the slime blocks on around. Place another sticky piston going this way. And then 1 more slime block up here. And that is our engine. Let's go ahead and build the sender. Sticky piston, temporary block, and a slime block. Another sticky piston. Slime block. And another one. Another slime block. We'll add our observers in later. Throw in some glass right here. Temporary block, piece of glass, and slime block, and then a piston facing down. Then we add another piston this way, a temporary block, and 2 more glass blocks. Then 2 slime blocks, so that way the whole mechanism itself can be shoved over. And 2 more glass blocks, stopping the machine itself. Connect all that. And that's the basic framework of your sending machine. So let's go ahead and add in the observers. We're going to need 1 right here, powering this piston. We're going to need 1 right here, powering this one, if we can get it in the right orientation. And now these you want to go ahead and face downwards so you don't have any interfering. So we got that one, and then that one. You can destroy that block right there. And then we have 1 more to place controlling this piston. Now when placing these observers, you want to make sure that you don't update any of them by accident. That's why I'm placing blocks on the side here. And that should be the sending mechanism all completed. So we're going to go ahead and light it up. And you want to attach these glowstones to anywhere you can go ahead and need light to. You want to make sure you don't place one right here because that could break the machine. And this should be sufficient enough lighting to not have any mob spawn. So that is the TNT duper and the sending machine all done. So when building a receiving mechanism, you want to take note of the position of this sticky piston right here, as well as the observer beneath it, because it will power both the sending and the receiving of our TNT duper machine. Now, if you were to go in a straight line from this sticky piston right here and place another one at the same Y level, facing the same direction, you can go ahead and start your receiving mechanism. Alternatively, you can go ahead and just hop in the minecart, like you would do in your normal survival world, and press this button right here, and that will go ahead and start the whole mechanism. And whenever you're satisfied you've gone far enough, you will go ahead and take a redstone block, and you can place it right here, stopping everything. You can get out, make sure you build a nice platform where you're not going to destroy yourself. And we can go ahead and start our receiving mechanism. So now let's go ahead and build the receiving mechanism. Go ahead and destroy this redstone block right here. And add a sticky piston, a temporary block, and a slime block. Add another sticky piston, 2 more slime blocks, a regular piston, a temporary block, and 2 glass blocks. Then 2 slime blocks connecting our piston so it can be shoved over. We're going to add 3 more slime blocks and 2 down to this one right here. Then we're going to add pistons on either side so that'll shove the engine and the TNT duper over. Add a sticky piston back here and 5 slime blocks over. 2, 3, 4, 5. Another regular piston, and then a temporary block and 2 glass blocks. Then we're going to make slime blocks in an L formation, and then 2 more glass blocks, stopping the mechanism. Now let's go ahead and add in our observers. We're going to need one controlling this piston, one controlling this one, and another controlling this one. Now this is the tricky one to place in. You want to go ahead and grab a temporary block, place it right here, and then we can add our observer. That way we make sure we don't update the machine. And now we can go ahead and add our lighting in. Go ahead and add some right here. That way you don't have any mobs spawning. And I can't stress enough that you can't add any to this middle segment right here, because if you do, it will break because it's already at push limit. Now when you're ready to go, you can go ahead and hop back in the minecart and put your button back on here and start everything, and then you can start making your perimeter. And as soon as you're ready to go ahead and stop this mechanism, you can go ahead and put any powered block at the same Y level as the piston, and when that shows over for its final time and then sends the mechanism back over, it will no longer start again. So you can hop out and do what you need to do. So I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if you suggest any improvements that can be made to this, or if you'd like me to work on something else. So I'll see you on the next one, guys.